Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Tuesday, November 14th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, XRP price chart, the altcoin market, just altcoins in general. Take a look over there at the stock market as it gets set to open in the next 4 minutes to get an understanding of what markets are looking like as we get ready to kick the day off. Of course, we'll peek over there at the US dollar, and we'll peek over there at precious metals, along with any type of financial news and any type of crypto news that may seem important this morning. We are off to a wild and wacky morning over here in the crypto market and over there in the stock market, as today we did get our consumer price index measurement for the month of October. That is the measurement of change of inflation from month to month. We did beat expectations. Last month, when we got our last reading, we were up 0.4% from the previous month. The expectations was that it was going to be a little bit cooler for this October reading, thinking that it would come in at 0.1%. Turns out it came out at 0.0% month over month, which was a beat. And also the year over year inflation, or CPI, dropped from 3.7 to 3.2%. So we have a beat of expectations in which they expected a 3.3 on the year over year and a 0.1 on the month over month. The second that news came out, we did see the stock market rip to the upside. We saw the cryptocurrency market follow shortly behind, and we've just seen big moves happening. And we've seen the US dollar currency index now at about 104.6. So a couple of days ago, or yesterday, as you know, we were up there right near that 106 saying, hey, man, it would be nice to get a rejection from here, as that 106 has tended to be kind of a struggle in regards to what the stock market does. Fortunately, we have seen it now just get completely pummeled down to the downside over there in the DXY. And we do see the stock market just ripping this morning. I think we have the Dow Jones that is expected to be up about 400 points at the opening bell, and the S&P to be up about 62, and the NASDAQ to be up about 267. Just an absolute green morning over there. So let's go ahead and run through everything that's going on right now. Bitcoin sitting at, of course, in regards to financial news, of course, or crypto news, of course, we got to talk about the whole XRP stuff that went on yesterday, that it showed up on the Delaware website of an XRP trust being filed by BlackRock, and all the drama that came along with that yesterday. Is it real? Is it not real? So we'll find out. We'll talk more about that in today's stuff, and we'll talk about the complications on telling whether or not it is real or not real, because we just don't know. It has been confirmed by an employee who works for Bloomberg. His name is Eric. I can't pronounce his last name. If I'm reading it at the same time, maybe I'll be able to read it. Eric, you could do it. Balchunas. A lot. Of course, you see the XRP community. He is the one who did declare that it is a false filing by BlackRock. You did see a lot of quick denial of him and discrediting of him throughout the XRP community yesterday, maybe not knowing who he is. He's pretty much in the crypto world. He's kind of the most respected guy on having the ins on what's going on with ETF filings when it comes to crypto. So the crypto market does look to him for giving that information. He's not some guy that isn't around or just randomly posts stuff. As a matter of fact, one of the first people that I saw who did post the XRP trust filed by BlackRock was by an account that just is extremely inactive. It posts maybe once every 2 or 3 months, is the one that I first initially saw it posted by. But Eric Buchalis did apparently get in contact with BlackRock to determine it is not real. But we don't really know. And I don't know what to make of it. I don't really have an opinion on it. Again, I've been through all this stuff with XRP having a trust. Grayscale used to have one. When the SEC sued Ripple, they unwound the whole trust. So we've seen an XRP trust before. But the things that to look for in regards to if it's real or if it's not real is that when we saw these things happen for Bitcoin, we saw these things happen for Ethereum, it was within the coming days. There actually was like ETF stuff that was ended up filing. So it was kind of like a placeholder, then followed up by ETF. So if you don't see anything further continuing from this in the next couple of days, probably just write it off as nothing. But either way, so let's go ahead and dive into the market as the stock market is now open. Bitcoin sits at 36,590, still continuing. It's just higher highs and higher lows. I'm not entirely like married to this fib level just because I see all this stuff. I think we're just in an upward grind right here until it proves differently. And I don't have any, I'm not married to that fib level being anything. What we clearly see is just a continuation of higher highs and higher lows. So you probably want to see, 34,500 holds should it pull back deeper, which I think is possible. I mean, it just seems logical to do it. But it's just an upward grind for Bitcoin, slow and steady. And that's fine because we end up seeing a lot of action over here in the altcoin market as we do that with Bitcoin. Question still remains, of course, whether or not this is 2016, 2020, or something different. We're all still just waiting on that, and I keep showing you guys all those different things. Nothing changes so long as Bitcoin just continues its little grind. The thing is, of course, we're seeing the altcoin market rip and roar. The altcoin market in the last few days has had its highest closes that it's had dating back to August of 2022. Yesterday's pullback got right back down to the daily candle closes. It did close on top, and then, of course, we've got the CPI data coming out today that's sending the markets rocking today, so hopefully that's a bounce off of that level right there to keep the party going, is what you could see. There's still a long ways to go to even get back really into that super danger level. The first one that we keep noticing over there throughout the market, which for total three, it's right there at about 600 and 650 to $700 billion. Still a long ways away from there to reach something like that. Looking over here at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, let's go ahead and pull that up, the real one up. There we go. So there you go. Dow Jones Industrial Average now back into retracement levels. It's at the 702 retracement level of this most recent range that it's been in right now. Of course, if we want to see, so of course this reaches like danger, right? We've looked at lots of different structures. Now that we're in these retracement levels, this is where danger can happen and the thing just goes absolutely plummeting. So the thing that would open up optimism for me significantly, could we go take out that high? As long as we're here in the retracement levels, it's going to still be that, hey, careful from me, at least. That's the way I'm going to be viewing it, and start opening up some hedges here in just a moment. But that is back into retracement levels right now for the Dow on our most recent range after setting a lower low in here, right? So we have a lower low. We have a range retracement hit now on today's euphoric news of CPI, right? Being back to 3.2. I'm not going to fall in love and get euphoric. I'm going to keep expectations in check here and just remain on caution and on alert, right? The biggest optimistic thing that could happen would be to take out that range height, because then it starts getting to the point, well, you know what? We've now waddled all over the place. We've just been smacking through all of these retracement levels and then, potentially opening up that door for heading to that 4.236 extension, which is only, not too much further above what the previous all-time high is. As of right now, though, this is, kind of in that area where a lot of danger does reside in regards to retracement levels. So get out of the retracement levels, start celebrating, but you could see we're smack dab right at the area that can be the concern here for the Dow Jones. But at the same time, there she goes. There goes the United States Dollar Currency Index, DXY, that 106 levels where it goes back to retest, right? Isn't that funny, right? I've done deep dive stuff on this, on that, how that 106 is that level of like confirming whether, things are okay or things are really bad. And we go back and we just hit 106, right? And this is, of course, back here, we're talking about 106. We get through 106, the market gets super sketchy. You see gold go back to almost its all-time high. Then we pull back and break through, back test 106, and then down and away we go again. So optimistic to see that for markets, to see that occurring there for the United States Dollar Currency Index. As long as we're not above 106, the world is celebrating and happy. So good to see that happening. At the same time, we are seeing a move back up in gold here. You see it at 1962, so that's up $17 today, almost $17. Big move over there in silver as well, back to 22.94, which is up 63 cents in a day. That's a big move to happen over there. For example, how much 63 cents is when I'm shopping around for silver and I'm going through all the online websites and stuff. I'm looking at spot prices on stuff. I'm like, wow, they're charging $2.25 over spot. They're charging $1.99 over spot. This is $2.25. This is 25 cents more over spot than they're paying. I'm not paying that 25 cents. Well, there you go. There goes 65 cents added to it in a heartbeat. And now I'm going to have to pay an extra 65 when I was whining and complaining about 25. So pretty decent size move over there in silver, decent size move over there in gold as the US dollar currency index is tumbling down. Look at these long duration yields, guys. This is massive moves over here in long duration yields. 5-year yield down 0.229, down to 4.35%. The 10 years down 0.2%, down to 4.43. 20 year. I mean, these moves in long duration yields are massive. And these moves over here in short duration yields, they may not seem big, but like if you've noticed when we've watched these for like the last 6 months, these things have all sat at like 5.35. Are they finally coming off of that? Look at that. That's a little bit of a change happening there on the trend for that, right? I know that doesn't seem significant, but we're dealing with yields here. That's not the continuation of upward grind. There's suddenly a change happening here on the shorter duration yields. Let's see here. So the shorter durations are going too. The long durations are going massive pull downs. The shorter duration ones are also starting to go down as well, breaking down too. So is that the end? Is that the end of seeing the 5.25 stuff happening in here? And it might be. Let's see what the Fed is saying now. What the market's pricing in for the Fed. 94% probability that they will be paused at the next meeting, which is 29 days from now. There you go. That'll be on December 13th. This was at 85% prior to the CPI reading, now at 94%. And I would say that the yields, the notes, bills, and bonds are telling the same story. They're not hanging out. They're going down. But anyway, Dow Jones up 350, S&P up 63, NASDAQ up 277. So up 1% for the Dow, 1.5% for the S&P, and almost up 2% for the Dow Jones Industrial Average coming off of the CPI beat. So rock on, man. Looking over at DXY, still now down 104.54. Altcoin market, quite a bit of green. And there you have it. That's the start to your day. So big moves happening over there in markets, and just keeping in mind that we are back at retracement levels on the Dow. It's fun to celebrate and feel excited, but of course this is an area of concern happening here for the Dow Jones Industrial Average right now. All right, moving along, we're going to talk about XRP, the craziness of XRP yesterday. So yesterday afternoon, late afternoon, tweets are coming out saying that BlackRock had filed an XRP trust, so an iShares XRP trust in the state of Delaware. Not a whole lot of sources being able to back this up or confirm this outside of just seeing it over there in the state of Delaware's website. And I did confirm it. I've looked it up myself. It definitely was there. Probably is still there. I looked up the case number. I looked everything. I provided a link over there on Twitter so people could look that up themselves as well to see it listed there. But not a lot of corroboration happening there from any type of sources confirming it as being true. Like we said, Eric Rachalis is like the most respected ETF guy in the cryptocurrency world on social medias. And typically is right. Okay. So I know everybody wants to say, I don't trust some guy named Eric. Well, look, he's the most trusted guy there is when it comes to the reality of what's happening with ETF, without creating FOMO, without creating hype, really telling you, here's deadlines, here's where things have to happen, and here's how it's going to go. He says he spoke to people at BlackRock, and he has said it is false in a false filing over there. That some rando got onto the website and filed it. Of course, a lot of people have chimed in on whether or not that's true or not true. Is it fraud? Was there market manipulation? Did somebody have, a leveraged long position to have that happen? Or did they wipe out a bunch of shorts? What happened in here as price just fired straight up and then confirmed to be false, straight back down, right back to where we were once again. So that everybody's riled up to say whether or not this is real or not real. Who's this guy, Eric? I'm not just going to trust a guy named Eric, discrediting him because his name is Eric. But the reality is, he's the most respected ETF, crypto ETF guy in the space. So, you got to kind of take what he says as like the most trusted word on the topic. And so he says it's not real. I don't know. I don't know if it is or isn't, or if there's any meaning to it. A lot of people point to, so why is it still on the website? So why is it still on the website last night, right? Well, first of all, we all saw it late afternoon. If you know anything about government offices, they do close, right? Employees go home. They're probably not like super passionate about staying late to make sure that databases are up to date. They do go home. So, we'll see if anything changes throughout today or if there's anything additional filed in regards to with the Bitcoin and with with Ethereum, when they had theirs filed, more came out. So, give it a week. If we haven't seen anything additional happen within a week, then okay, probably nothing. Here's a little article on what happened in here, and then I'll show you how, if you're still convinced that there's no way it's real because it's on the website, we'll take a look at something else that Moon Lambo posted that was pretty good to kind of just be like, look, take a chill pill. We'll see what happens. XRP futures traders nurse a $7 million loss as BlackRock ETF rumor causes wild price swings. XRP prices jumped to 73 cents from 65 cents in 25 minutes after a tweet suggested financial behemoth BlackRock had filed for an XRP ETF in the US. First of all, no, they didn't. They filed for a trust. We've had trusts before. Secondly, if you're going to get if I pray to God, the XRP community does not become what Bitcoiners are with their ETF. I pray to God we're not that. But I know what clickbait and monetization of YouTube channels and tweets does, and so we will become that for sure. So files for ETF. It wasn't an ETF. It was a trust. Traders invested in XRP futures lost some $7.26 million in the past 24 hours as prices moved wildly, following rumors of a BlackRock exchange-traded fund filing. It was not an ETF, it was a trust. Liquidations were fourth behind those of Bitcoin and Ether and Solana futures. The price jumped to 73 cents from 65 cents in 25 minutes. They keep saying XRP ETF. I don't know why. However, the filing turned out to be fake. Someone had likely filled out an elaborate form using a BlackRock executive's alias and effectively replicated an actual online filing. This caused prices to quickly tumble back to previous levels. Eric Balchunas says this is false, confirmed by BlackRock, by me. Some wacko must have added it using BlackRock's executive name, etc. Come on, man. But leverage traders have already piled in. Okay, doesn't matter. All right, so yeah. So anyway, that's what everybody got all worked up over yesterday. So the confirmation of it not being real comes from Eric. It's really the only thing that we have there. CNBC ran their hit piece today, which is good. It's good to see CNBC running their hit pieces. But the question is, can something get on this website that is fake? Right? That's the question. Can you get on the state of Delaware's website with all this good stuff and be fake? Here's an article that Moon Lambo had filed. If you're not following the Moon Lambo YouTube channel, give him a follow and follow him over there on Twitter. He had posted this on Twitter yesterday. Here's an article from CoinDesk from back in April of 2021. Mysterious filings suggest imposter is using Grayscale's name to pump obscure coins. Greetings from Delaware. This is the state of Delaware's website. Someone appears to have gone to odd lengths to impersonate digital asset manager Grayscale Investments, possibly in an effort to drive up the prices of two lesser-known cryptocurrencies. To be clear, Grayscale said it has no intention of creating a financial instrument around NAMI, an Ethereum scaling project, or Theta, a video platform. Nevertheless, there is a pair of registered trusts, one for each obscure coin, in the state of Delaware. The trust for NAMI misspells the coin's name with one I. Each of these trusts bears Grayscale's name, and the registration gives the same agent's address that the firm uses for its real crypto investment vehicles. So, somebody has gone on to this website where this thing is posted for the XRP iShares Trust. Same website, same state. They have filed fake ones. They used Grayscale's name and they gave Grayscale's address. So is it possible to go onto the state of Delaware's website, register a fake trust, and then use someone else's name and someone else's address to do it? Obviously it is. It's possible, and it's been done before. So that provides the problem of saying, hey, it has to be real because it's still on the website. Well, first of all, it was nighttime, so somebody's going to catch it and then remove it. What's the process? We don't know what the process is. But just because it's on the website does not make it real, because it has happened before in the cryptocurrency world, where somebody has filed these at this exact same place, totally faked who the registrar was, and gave the correct address for the name that they were using. Right, same address. So keeping that in mind, that can be faked. Grayscale maintains a list of assets that may potentially include, okay, blah, 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 blah. That's it. So kind of giving you an idea that just because you get listed here, you get put on here, it has been faked before. So we have seen faking happening on here before. The thing that we'll keep our eyes for to say, is it real, is it not real, is will something else get filed additionally, right? So like this thing came out for Bitcoin, right, back in the summer, and then it was like a week later, like they filed for their ETF. Then when this came out for Ethereum, maybe 5 days ago, it was like the next day there also was a NASDAQ filing, okay? So after these things were done, within a week, there were additional filings and progressions that were made, right? So if there are additional things filed, then rock on, right? So keep your eyes out for that for the next week. If something does get filed in addition, then that would add some more corroboration to it. But we'll see, right? I think the only person really who's denying it is Eric. Don't really have any information or any. The only thing I can just say is Eric is typically the go-to guy. He's always the go-to guy when it comes to ETF stuff in the crypto space. He's the one saying it. Do I have any way to prove if he's right or he's wrong? No, I have no inside information. But I also will say he's been a trusted source in this space when it comes to ETFs in the cryptocurrency market. So he's not just some guy named Eric. He's the most trusted. He's the guy everybody goes to when it comes to the ETFs. So give you that. All right, looking over there at news. Let's go back to the XRP price chart. Price action. What an ugly move. What an ugly move. Now have another BS move over here on the XRP price chart to play with. The things, of course, that make me nervous about seeing something like that is just being back in these retracement levels, because now that was a perfect smack wick to the 618 retracement levels. So we go back, we hit 618 and then pulled back down. Times where we've done this, right? Where we've just gone back, don't quite get to 618 and then just kind of pull back and then go smack into the 618 and then pull right back. The most recent time is right there. So it's kind of what we have happen over here. Don't get to the 618, have a smack into the 618, and then pull back from it. So, whether or not we're not going to revisit that, right? If this was just a baloney move happening in here. Obviously, even on the extreme hype, the market makers, the sell orders, everything stopped it right there. I mean, it's just obvious. The market just stopped it right there. So keeping our eyes there to know there is trouble here at this 618 retracement level. It does appear. Even if we go in there with a euphoric 25-minute move, that seems to be where it stopped. We have seen ourselves pull back, retrace, get back to the 618, and then pull back down from there. So again, as we're in here, it's just about, do we go back and back test levels, or can we get through the retracement levels? Otherwise, where are you? You're literally in the middle of a range. Somebody was trying to ask me, where do we go to next? Where do we go to next? I said, look, we're in the middle of this range. It's considered the dumb money zone. Trying to guess how price action is going to play out in here is a fool's errand to do that. And there's a really great example of it. Who would have guessed it would be a 25-minute wick that would shoot it up to a new high, hit that, and then back down again? While we're in the middle of this range, it's going to be chaotic, and we're just going to have to wait on the market to give us more. And I think the thing that would be optimistic would be the thing XRP holders don't want to hear: more from Bitcoin. You want to see Bitcoin keep going. You want to see the altcoin market keep rallying. We want to see that total 3 go ahead and bounce from here and continue shifting its way up. The more liquidity throughout the cryptocurrency markets, the more better it is for the XRP price. It's just how it always has been. Get the crypto market rampaging. That's when things turn out good for XRP every time, and never ever XRP going on its own. Always with the market. As for dominances, again, my thoughts and expectations are here is we're just going to kind of be stalled out for maybe another week here before really, at least a week, before really exciting stuff enters again. Then after we have another exciting move happening in the crypto market, things like we've seen like Solana, we've seen Chainlink get way up there. Do we see the rest of the market kind of get that kind of move and then expect maybe a deep correction to pull ourselves back after that? Corrections do happen. They will happen. They'll always happen. They'll scare the crud out of you. And corrections tend to be 60%. Now, it's just not unusual to see a 60% correction. So I would think that will eventually come at some point. My best guess is that we still have more down to go. There's still another leg up in the altcoin market in general before we see a bigger correction happening. What would make logical sense? Maybe it's going to be something along the lines of actually getting our way out of here, getting a bigger move, and then coming back for a correction before shifting up again. But to understand the corrections of this magnitude and this size, these are herders. These are not feel-gooders, right? That's a 30% correction in the whole market. You'll have some that will correct more than 30%, some that will correct less than 30%. But even if we do it from higher prices, do it from up here, then you're looking at a 40% correction throughout the whole market. So just kind of keeping that in mind that my guess, we're going to have another leg. After that leg, it'd be kind of a mindful watch out to see what ends up happening after that. Dow Jones still pushing up higher. There you go, 443 points for the Dow, which is 1.29%. The S&P up 73 points, 1.66%. The Nasdaq up 306, which is almost 1.99. Come on, let's just see it. Give me the 2. No, it won't do it. 1.97%. Big movers over there. Of course, this is all coming off of that CPI data and inflation figures showing that we're cooling off. I've already gone through this. We went through the yields earlier. Short duration yields are even falling. They've been hanging out at that 5.35% for the last 6 to 9 months. Finally, they're even falling, and massive falls over here in long duration yields. Massive falls in long duration yields. What does it mean? It means we're going to see reduced mortgages as well. 30-year mortgage rate is going to be falling. That's not good for the doomers. The doomers want to hear mortgage rates stay high and everything is hitting the fan, but that does mean that we will see mortgage rates start to fall. So we'll keep it. But I mean, don't be fooled. They're still high. It's still like 7.75% for a 30-year mortgage if you have great credit. But you should see them fall tomorrow when we get the report on what 30-year mortgages. My best bet is when we pull up Bloomberg tomorrow, mark my words, right? When we see pull up Bloomberg tomorrow, one of the headlines on here will be biggest fall in 30-year mortgage since blah, 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 blah. Mark my words. I'm going to bet that's what we see tomorrow. All right. So big move in Dow, still in retracements. We'll see if we can get some more juice in here. Fingers crossed that we do. More moves up in the Dow, better it is for crypto. Don't be fooled otherwise. Go Dow. That's what we definitely want. And I got to contain myself a little bit. I don't want to get too excited to see something like that happening. I'd like to see us get out of here, but again, as we're right here, caution. But fingers crossed hard. As the DXY just pummels itself down. So, man, let's go. All things looking good. Just kind of chilling out over here on crypto. We got a lot of green over here in the market, but mostly kind of hovering around that 1%. Looks like the average is about 1% in the market. And the leaders up there are Solana and AVAX and Matic and Cardano. Losers this morning, ICP, XRP, XLM, ETC, and Coin. With XRP and XLM, not surprised they're moving together. I don't know if you guys saw this. I posted this over there on Twitter yesterday. This nonsense. Let's go ahead and add stellar lumens. The only asset to do exactly what XRP did. I personally think there's just a concerted effort to market stellar lumens to the XRP community. That's what I think it is. There's something there. There's zero chance anybody bought stellar lumens yesterday based on an XRP filing by BlackRock. There's just zero chance, none whatsoever. Let's go ahead. We'll drop this down to like 15 seconds. You might not have these options here if you're not. I do have premium on here, so I can go to these lower time frames. Here's the 15-second chart, candlesticks, stellar lumens. Let's add other stuff in here. How about we add Ethereum? That's not the same. Let's add Solana. Let's add Cardano. Let's add Chainlink. Let's add Bitcoin. Is anything in this market doing what... I'll take Stellar off for a second. Is anything in this market doing what XRP is doing right here? Nothing is. And the news is entirely directed towards XRP. Like, it in no way impacts stellar lumens, right? Like, no way. If anything, the XRP community members who also own stellar lumens, they would have dumped their stellar lumens to chase XRP, because that's what people do. They dump their other stuff to dump it into one thing because they think they're going to miss the opportunity and run away, and it's going to run away on them. But instead, stellar lumens does the exact same thing. So obviously there's a market maker on there. Obviously there's a reason somebody is tied to it. But what's real interesting about it is, like, of course people say, hey, if I was going to put a trading bot on it, or if I was going to have a market maker on it and have it tied to the price of XRP, the reality is the sheer price rise that stellar lumens ended up having in there means it had to have a lot of liquidity to do that. Because they both go up about equivalent percentages. Looks like XRP goes up about 14%. Stellar lumens goes up about 12%. That's a lot of money to move that price that way. And retail's not the ones moving it. Somebody is moving it. Somebody has decided to entirely tie price rises of stellar lumens to the price rise of XRP. And so I often get asked, you have a lot of XRP, why don't you have a lot of stellar lumens? It's like, well, I have a little bit of stellar lumens, but what's the point, right? What is the freaking point of owning stellar lumens if the price is literally just tied to XRP? It's the most bizarre thing, and that's really, I've seen it tied to each other, obviously, even during when the SEC lost against Ripple, and XRP, specifically only XRP, was declared not a security by the courts. Who fired up with it? Stellar lumens, right? It's like, okay, well, okay, it's positive news for crypto. It was a good day for crypto, but nobody else kept up with that 100% rise with XRP like stellar lumens did. But then when you get this one, where it's like, there's a potential BlackRock filing only for XRP, and the price moves with it. That's manipulation. I mean, that is. I hate to use that term manipulation, because people always say the price is manipulated because I got wrong-footed. Everybody told me the price was going up and then the price went down. That means this market's manipulated. No, you just got on the wrong side of the market. This seems like clear manipulation. The price of stellar lumens being attached to the price of XRP, and the sheer volume and the number of dollars that exchange hands there for stellar lumens. I think it's I can only speculate on why, but I don't think there's a strong stellar lumens community on its own. It's really just XRP YouTubers and community members who own and promote stellar lumens. There's no stellar lumens community that does exist that I'm aware of or I've ever seen. I don't ever see people tweeting about stellar lumens literally ever, ever. So yeah, but either way, I thought that was interesting and just something to point out, and just kind of everybody have an understanding of that correlation. And then, things kind of lose a little bit of it down here, but in the thick of it, what does it do? Literally, let's do this. We're going to go for it. It's going to take me a minute to get there. No, it's falling off the screen, huh? I can't get back there on the 1 second chart. Can we go to 5? Let's go to 5. The takeoff's at the exact same time. The landing is at the exact same time. Come on. Come on. Okay. We'll move on from that. Any other news out there? Inflation was flat in October from the prior month. Core CPI hits 2-year low. Dow futures surged 300 points. Let's see if they're more now. Yep, still more. 487 for the Dow. Come on. Let's go. All green over here in the stock market. Long duration yields wrecked, but they're holding up a little bit now that the market has opened. DXY 104.47. There you go. Big day. Big day in the stock market coming off of the CPI data. And yields falling. Yields believe we're done. I don't buy this for half a second of 94%. I think the market actually thinks there's going to be a cut. There it is, 100% that they think we're going to be paused. I think the market thinks we're going to cut. Based on what's happening with those yields, I'm wondering if tomorrow when we check on this, if this won't be 100%, but there will be some type of it over here for a cut. Bloomberg, cooling U.S. price pressures likely take Fed hike off table. Yep. U.S. inflation broadly slows in sign of progress for Fed. Wall Street cheers soft landing nirvana. Asset managers warn of failed trades as U.S. market speeds up. Elon Musk and Jane Fraser among CEOs wooing Xi Jinping. Okay, cool. I didn't see anything on news in here outside of the XRP, XRP. They keep saying ETF, XRP trust filing that has everybody up in a mixed emotional roar of yesterday. And just to remember, we have had an XRP trust before. We had it for years, and as we had it, it didn't impact price. And I know how most people are in this community. Maybe it's not most. It's unfair to say. I know how some people are. If price doesn't keep surging based on something, they just love to come complain on social media and complain at me. Like, why? All this really great news is happening. Why isn't it going? Huh? It's like, look, get rid of your narratives, man. Listen, this is what happens. You can follow the data or follow it. A trust did nothing for XRP in the past. An ETF, if it comes out, guess what? It's going to mark the top. It's going to be the end of XRP. You cool with that? All right, fine. Or else if you want to just start believing what Bitcoiners believe and think that ETFs are good for them, it's not. Every financial product for Bitcoin has marked a reversal. So if you want that for XRP, well then, hey, sure, it'll give us a reversal sign. But it's not necessarily a good thing. And not only that, like, doesn't that like break all these like conspiracy theory narratives if you have an ETF? Hasn't it been like years of them telling us XRP is not made for retail? It's not made for retail. Now they're cheering for ETF. Like, put it in the hands of... I'm done. We're moving on. Swap Bitcoin terminate customer accounts that use crypto mixing services. BitThumb plans first crypto exchange listed on Korea. Take Bitcoin profit at 110K. CME tops Binance and Bitcoin futures open interest. Okay, take Bitcoin profits at 110K. Oh, we'll see about that. All right. Otherwise, market in recovery after yesterday's kind of crummy day. And the morning wasn't that great either over here in the morning in crypto. But we can see that this was now at this point, a back test of this range. Just being mindful in here on if the stock market's got more juice in it, if the stock market's going to be able to keep going. It's looking pretty good this morning, but we know where it's at. We're within the retracement levels. An example of how the most recent one that we've seen, like we've shown it a little bit over the last several months, how like sometimes like silver and the DXY, kind of like silver was leading the way on what was happening. Not the DXY, silver was kind of leading the way on what was happening with the Dow Jones. It was really bizarre and how that was happening. And what if we kind of assume that too over there on on gold, we saw this same thing, right? We saw this fall start. Let's see if we can overlay them. DJI. I'm not digging that color. It's hard to see. We'll just do that. So to remember, we also saw gold just like rock right off these lows and then go right back into the retracement levels and then totally stall out in here. So hopefully that's not the case for the Dow, but to be mindful of it, right? Like if you would have asked gold people 2 weeks ago, people were FOMO buying gold. FOMO buying it like it was never going to come back down when we were at 2K, right? And sure enough, it did. So just keep that in mind. Keep it in mind. I don't know. I think, you know, obviously you could tell like throughout the years, my emotions are far different than what the general herd is, you know. That when prices are rising, that's when I start to get the concern. And during the whole depths of despair for a year and a half of people screaming 12K, it's where I'm like, you know, everything's pointing to saying that the bottom is in. Things are going to ramp back up, but it's always like this when we start getting moving back up. We have to find all those resistance levels. There's so many of them on every asset, and we've got to fight through all of them and expect corrections will come along the way. We've kind of been treated to a little bit of bliss here, a little bit of stuff we're not used to seeing, right? Where it's just been kind of straight up for some time at this point. And I'm not saying we're going to correct right now, but eventually we will. Eventually it'll startle the market. It'll scare the market tremendously and people will get angry again. So just remember that that day will come, but that things on the bigger time frames, that's why I was trying to point to it the other day, on the bigger time frames, just an absolute stunner in here for what this market is actually starting to look like in here. As we are working our way back up, you know, we went through this, I went through C19 stuff I've showed you guys before, right? I think that's the thing that kind of keeps you on edge right now. It's just like, man, all right, we're pulling out of here. Things are looking good. The market's feeling good. And, you know, we talked about this back in August, September, and October, right? Everybody was screaming that we were going to crash from there. We're going to have a C19 crash. And so everybody's selling the lows, thinking we're going to 12K, 16, 23, 20, whatever, because the C19 crash is coming next. And we talked a lot about that and saying how, look, like even when the C19 crash came, the market priced itself for it ahead of time. We just kind of shot our way up. And then we had the C19 crash. So the market really priced it in first and then pulled back down. And I was in here during this time. The market was very excited. The market was thinking we were pulling out of here at that time. And then C19 comes and everything just hits the fan right after that. So, you know, as we're pulling out of here, obviously, you know, we're pulling off the lows. We're getting our way out of here. I think to myself, all right, man, are we going to have some wicked, scary correction happening here? Something's going to happen with stocks and there's going to be some wicked correction in here. And that's the thing I'm just going through my mind a lot right now, which I don't have the answer to, but like the things that are different that I keep paying attention to as I try to subside that worry as price continues rising, because I'm long the market. And, you know, just trying to say, well, what is different this time, right? What is different in the market compared to when we had another slam back down to the lows again? And it's really just a lot of the strength in this market. And you can see that here in the altcoin market. We're still near the lows down in here, right? We're now rampaging back all the way up, back to like bull market territory on the stochastic RSI for total 3. Looking over here at total 2, looking over here on others, right? bouncing off the previous all-time high. Look at this. The stochastic RSI in the monthly time frame has rampaged back to full strength. We're at like rampage mode. This is rampage mode right here, happening in here. This is far different than with C19, right? C19, we're just kind of waffling around 50%, and we see C19 slam. We're in full rampage mode over here. So these are like positive signs that, whether they're positive or not, they are certainly different than what happened back then. Exhibiting still not quite full strength to get up there, right? Looking at things like XRP, right? So when C19 slam happened, that was right here, right? Look how just weak we are. We're still just a weak baby down in here, not able to do anything. And then we get C19 slammed, right? Look at how different this is, right? Compared to what we have going on right now. MACD fully crossed on the monthly time frame, several green bars. It's just different, right? It's not the same. But of course, as we're in this phase, it's like appearing like we're pulling out of here. There becomes a little bit of those, I guess you'd call it post-traumatic stress from going through that. You long the bottom, and then you get some type of wicked correction to happen. So I have to think to myself, there's got to be a correction at some point. There's going to be something. People are going to get riled up, and they're going to yell and scream because they were short at 12K, or they were short at 25K. They were expecting 23. It fires up to 38. And so then they long 38, and then they stay in Bitcoin dominance trade. Now they're FOMOing altcoins because altcoins are getting away, and then it's going to flip over on them again. And there's constantly wrong-footed, constantly fear, and constantly chasing greed. That group of people is going to get wrecked no matter what. It does not matter what happens in this market. They'll always get wrecked because they're always going to go the wrong way. But they get loud, right? So to get ready for that, for them to get loud, eventually they will get wrong-footed again. So otherwise, us, the people who stayed strong throughout the whole time, got the bargain basement prices. And we're looking good. We're looking good. So rock on, man. Otherwise, Bitcoin 36,500, altcoin market a little bit mixed over here, but total, let's see, others is up 1.28%. Total 3 is up 1.09%. Total 2, which includes Ethereum, up 0.46%, as the DXY sits at 104.45. I wouldn't even call it sits, more of in free fall. In free fall at 104.46. Nice sigh of relief, definitely, to hit 106, to literally hit it. 106.005. And get pummeled by it. So that's awesome. Trying to think if there's anything else to cover. I think we've kind of covered it all. I think we know the news. The market is rocking. The stock market is rocking. On CPI, we're seeing long duration and short duration yields all falling. That's, money bailing from... It's not really money bailing. It's more of just you can't get that rate anymore. The market is pricing in that the Fed's going to be cutting, is what it feels like. That's what's crazy. Okay, it's back. It's back. 94% chance of a pause, 5% chance of a 25 basis point rate hike. We'll see what that looks like tomorrow, because that's not what the treasury market is saying. So, okay. There we have it. That's what's going on today. Stock market crushing it on CPI data. Crypto in a recovery after the CPI data came out. Bond treasury yields falling rapidly. I'm expecting tomorrow we're going to see biggest fall in 30-year mortgage rates. Tomorrow is the headline on Bloomberg. DXY in a free fall. Market kind of paused really for the last few days, kind of as expected over here on dominance, thinking it will still do so until there's finally one more fall. After that next fall is where I'm thinking we're probably going to see more of a correction happen in this market. Otherwise, if you're looking for something to cheer for today, if crypto is boring you a little bit, cheer for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. How are you doing? Oh, NASDAQ. Okay. NASDAQ trying to butt against the yearly highs. All right, you ready, guys? Here we go. NDXT, NASDAQ 100 technology sector. How are you? You're trying. So here's what's good about this, right? So the NASDAQ 100. So this is one thing we wrote about in the newsletter. Dang, I haven't talked about the newsletter. And the newsletter prior to this one, we were talking a lot about NDXT giving that signal for Bitcoin to move up. Sure enough, in the coming days, Bitcoin broke out and it went up. For those who subscribe to that. Then, of course, after that, we started talking about it here on the YouTube channel. The thing that's like positive about what we have here, one, we've got to obviously get through that 702. There's your big problem, right? Big fall back to 702, still battling through it. So I'm not making a call, okay? It'd be the dumbest thing I could do to make a call, as you said right there. But what's nice is that you see, the ABC happening here, and you see the level that it pulls back to, and it holds on top of. An example of that would be like Bitcoin at its peak. Right. So in comes the ABC. Right back to the support level. And then bounces off and then goes for full extension. It goes into new high, right? So then it goes. So you have that structural setup potentially right now. And Bitcoin's really been kind of playing along with what the NDXT is doing and what the stock market is doing. And that's, this whole consolidation level here is the same consolidation level that we had for Bitcoin. Let me see. Do I need to be on the Bitcoin? I can never remember which order I have to be on this. Let's go the other way. Let's go Bitcoin USD. We'll use Binance. And then we'll use sorry for the silence. Okay. All right. They both go back into the same levels. They have the same correction structures, and then they both start shifting up right in here, right? So then it just kind of keeps waddling and getting its way up here. Now, if we're able to get that ND, and so I think we're just kind of just lagging behind, right? I think this is kind of the kind of stuff that's going on over here for Bitcoin right now. Just kind of a slop. Maybe a couple more waves up to get back into those retracement levels that we've talked about. But then, I'm not expecting more than that. However, if you get a bigger break here in the NASDAQ Technology 100 sector, maybe, right? As of right now, you don't have that in the NASDAQ 100 technology sector. You don't have that in the stock market. So I'm not saying it will. Some of you guys are absolutely nuts. You change the words. you need to get a break in the stock market if you want it in Bitcoin. If you believe anything differently, you just believe that this time is different. And you know what? For everyone, that's fine. You can believe this time is different. But if we want more, you want it in the stock market. So if you want something to do today, you're bored, and crypto's not giving you that fix that you need to keep that dopamine rush going that you've been given for 3 weeks, then this is the place to cheer for it. As we are in the retracement levels for the Dow, to continue a march up and go a little bit higher. That would be great. So I'll be watching pretty much the stock market today. Can we keep going? That would be the best thing possible for crypto. But boy, what a move in metals. Wow. Silver's up 78 cents now. What a killer move. That stinks. That stinks. Because a lot of you guys, some of you guys may remember Markets in the Morning being like, yeah, this was like last week. Somebody asked, hey, so you kind of like wait for Black Friday? And I was like, yeah, I might as well just wait for Black Friday, probably get another $1 off the premiums. Boom, that's gone. Up 78 cents. Now, okay, well, hopefully on Black Friday, I can pay what I could have paid last week. We'll see. But all right, rocking over here in the Dow. Let's see, will we get to over 500 points here before the stream is done? And the S&P's up almost 2%, and the NASDAQ's up almost 2%. As it's just crushing over here in the stock market today. But all right, that's it for this. Let's go ahead and jump into the questions and the super chats in there, and go enjoy your day. Ed the Metalhead, this was prior to the stream even started, had gifted a BCB membership. Ed, thank you very much. Cash Me Outside, my brother, thank you very much. He had gifted one as well. Thank you, sir. Irish Red Crypto, take note of filing. Wasn't an ETF, it was a trust. Yeah, exactly. It was a trust. Chris, thank you, Irish. Chris, El Goto, you rock. As always, greets from Mexico. Chris, thank you very much for the kind words, sir, the super chat. And then Chris also gifted a BCB membership. So if you guys have a BCB membership, rock on. Thank the person who gave it to you. Jaxer4 says, good morning. XLM just got caught plagiarizing XRP. 20. Is that 20 months? Is that what that means? Celebrating 20 months? I don't know. You've been with me for 20 months, Jaxer? I don't know why it says 20 there. Thank you very much, sir. Tsunami76 says, thoughts on Q&T. Supply is low, but price is not moved. We've talked about Q&T many times. That price is just too high, so it's not something I'm interested in touching. It's probably something I'll never own outside of like some quick trade or something like that. It's one of those assets that went up like 200,000% in the last bull run and still just sits like really high. So I always talk about percentages mean everything. Today I start writing the next newsletter, so it's going to be a lot to do with. Don't hold me to it yet because let me get it out first. But I think we're talking again about altcoins, kind of a continuation on things we talked about last time in regards to development data, but other aspects of altcoin market, because it wasn't always just some developer data coins that run high. There's a lot of coins that practically dead, but just went into retracements. But those retracements were so massive that their percentages outperformed the market. Like, for example, one of those is like Sia coin. I think I brought that up on the channel the other day. Sia coin is one of those coins, which I still own some. But like, it's one of those coins that it went back into retracement levels, right? And that's all it got in 2021. But the drawdown that had happened in here was so massive that the retracement was 8,500%. Massive move. And like, if you kind of go based off of, what we were talking about December 10th, right? Yeah, which is like what's written in the news article. It was, 1,800%. 1,800%, beats out the market, beats out the top 20. So even though this one doesn't have a lot of developer stuff going on with it, it did that. So we're going to kind of talk about the nuances of the market with those additional thoughts in mind too. And then hopefully you can find the correlation of both things that have had massive drawdowns, but also have better dev data too. That would be a nice thing to be able to locate. But it also gives you a glimpse into Solana's bounce, right? Like Solana has bounced 700% from the low, right? Why? Because it's one of those coins that fell, I already have it on here, that fell 97%. So you see people YOLOing hard, even though prices are only back to the May of 2022 level, right? Because that price move has been so dramatic and so big, because percentages mean everything. Price does not. So when you're asking about QNT, I look at the percentages on it. I don't see them there for me. So it's something I just don't mess with, because I don't see the percentages there available for me on QNT. Not to talk bad about QNT, but I'm a percentage person. That's what I'm here for. And so I don't see it there. And it scares me more than makes me excited, QNT. SB says, where do you see link bottom at short term? I'm not going to do 1 minute chart, 5 minute, an hour chart, chain link stuff. You know where it is. It's gotten back to the level of danger. If it can get through, great. If it can't, then there's probably a bigger pullback available for it. But I'm not going to do trade calls on short term, like 1 hour charts. For where is Chainlink? Where are you? Okay, we're going to have to sort you like that. It's back in the danger zone, right? So what we have seen with past assets as they get into this area is they do have deeper falls, right? So this was a whole range that this thing has been in for the last year and a half. Clearly no back test of the top of the range in any way. If I had to guess, my guess would be that it would come back and at a minimum hit the top of the range again. I could guess more. I probably think we're coming back deeper than that at some point. But that's probably only going to happen in a broader market move, unless if Chainlink wants to be our first ones, right? And I don't know. What I'm saying with this whole thing is just that Chainlink has gotten back to where everything is rejected from. All assets have not been able to get through that level right there in April of 2022. The vast majority. Somebody's going to find someone and say, "See, Tron is," but Tron's just been like doing its own thing the whole time. It's been this grind up. But yeah, short term, not really going to guess on short term. It's more whether or not, can the market exhibit extreme strength? Can we finally start having assets break through this level here in April of 2022? Or is it going to follow along with everything else that has been behaving like that? Like Bitcoin Cash, which was one of them that got way up there. We talked about this yesterday, right? So Bitcoin Cash pulled all the way back to where the support, at least the very peak support, right? And still question is this an ABC, or is this going to like GameStop itself and just go, little bull flaggy. But it's still, even though after rejecting from there, right? If we say short term, well, it took 2 weeks for it to finally even break down from that range. It took it a month to get down here, and it took a month and a half to finally get here to backtest the peak of that range. And there's no telling if that's where Chainlink will stop at the top of that previous range should the pullback continue, or if it has to go deeper than that. But likely, if we're going to see consistent behavior in the market and that liquidity ran out for Chainlink, if it did, the first stopping point is probably there at like 967, likely. But I don't know. It's weird to kind of cheer for it a little bit because I've sold so much of my Chainlink that I want to feel comfortable and have a long-term full-sized bag again. But I couldn't ignore this, right? I had to take the shot. So far, my shot has been okay, but I'm not cheering for prices to fall, but it is what it is. Thank you, SB. Boz Bay gives it a BCB membership. Boz Bay, my man, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Boomer Dave says, are you confident the focus should be on the Dow Jones when looking at Bitcoin's potential as opposed to the QQQ? QQQ only 6% away from the all-time high. Have you done the analysis, Boomer Dave? That's the question. Have you found the correlations of breakouts into new all-time highs for QQQ versus Dow? Because that's the question, right? And mind you, everything is only 6% away, right? But no, it's not the same. So, when we have the NASDAQ, right? Or the S&P, outside of this one, you could claim this one, this break of this all-time high right here. Don't worry, that's not a coincidence that you break out into a new all-time high here after 20-year bear, 16-year bear. Bitcoin's 2017 bull run is here, right? But either after that, you get sloppy in here, right? Because notice that you go all the way up to here, August of 2020. Does Bitcoin break out into an all-time high during that? No, not at all. Right? Not at all. Surges, right? Bitcoin doesn't break its all-time high till right here. So you go from the peak of Bitcoin's bull run is right here. And then it doesn't break out into a new all-time high until this is already here. So no. So you could argue, well, we've seen it do that and nothing happens. But then if you go do the Dow, you're going to find it's always within 56 days of the Dow, all 3 times. Right. And so these are just data points, right? Take from it what you will, you guys, right? Like all it is data points. You can everybody wants to kind of like argue data, and then they love to point to me and say, "See, you're wrong." It has nothing to do with me being wrong or me being right on data. I'm just showing it to everybody. You can look at block reward halvings and see how much time elapses between block reward halvings, or you can look at Dow Jones Industrial Average multi-year bear market breakouts into new all-time highs and realize that Bitcoin breaks out into its all-time highs after multi-year bear markets within 56 days of the Dow Jones Industrial Average doing it, where on average it's over 200 days after the block reward halving. So which one matters? There's not a consistency there for the block reward halving, but it's very tight there versus the Dow. So people argue that against me, and it's like there's not an argument. It's an unequivocal data fact. You could just look at the data and you could say, no, I refuse to accept that data even exists in the world. And it's like, well, no, it exists. So okay. But yeah, so whether we'll see if it ends up doing it. Look like Bitcoin taking a little bit of a spill here. 35,904, right? So we've talked about this 2 days ago. Kind of what my thoughts are. Like I even said at the beginning of this thing, I'm not married to that. The thing you would want to see likely is to at least hold 34.5 on a pullback down in here for Bitcoin. How's the stock market holding up? Just fine. Stock market's holding up okay. Lots of green over there. Huge moves in metals this morning as the DXY. You still getting pummeled? Yeah, 104.41. Good deal. So there you go. Potentially even just a back test of the high. We'll see. All right. And I'm not picking on you, Boomer Dave. I just tend to go on rants. But now, brother, I don't think so with the QQQ. It doesn't have that same, like, whenever I'm looking at stuff and I present data and if I say it's an unequivocal fact, it has to be consistent data. So it's very inconsistent with the QQQ. So you wouldn't be able to argue the same thing. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to say, but see, it does sometimes. Well, nope, sometimes isn't okay. If we're presenting that data as saying it always and only breaks out with the Dow Jones Industrial Average, notice that I'm not always using the word stock market. We're always referencing Dow Jones Industrial Average, because if we look at the S&P, if we look at the NASDAQ, they do their own thing sometimes, and it doesn't go with it. But when the Dow does go, that's where that data point really comes into play. Andy Philpott, brother, thank you. Gifts 5 BCB memberships. I appreciate it, sir. Sick Thinker. Hey, BCB, do you know a reputable crypto recovery company? Asking for a friend. Thanks, dude. We appreciate you so much. Oh, and shout out to PTW also. Hey, I do not know of recovery services. Sorry, brother. But thank you, sir. 702 man. Andy Trujillo says gold is moving up a bit. Hit the like button. Yeah, as the DXY is getting crushed, we do see gold moving up. Now, just this whole thing just keeps going on between these two assets, between gold and between, where are you, gold? I've lost you. We'll do it over here. It is a constant battle on these two assets, right? So we have all this going on in here. Here's the most recent range starting in May down to October. Gold goes back to its 786 retracement. Here's this range for the Dow, right? Starts in July all the way until October, back into the 786 retracement. We've been watching this for 8 months. We cannot seem to get a clear winner between the two for 8 months on end. Who is going to be it? Because it's not going to be both. Right? Either they both lose, they both get slammed, or one of them breaks out, not both, into new bull runs. Right? That is what history also shows. So that's another one of those unequivocal, non-deniable facts that people always love to argue against me. And I'm like, this isn't opinionated. I'm not providing an opinion piece here on saying that. I'm telling you data. They don't go together. It's either one or the other. So you can't have your stocks and so if crypto is tied to the equity market, and if the equity market falls and gold rises, and anyway, there's a significant amount of people who do believe that crypto would surge and gold would surge at the exact same time, but data points do prove otherwise, that it would be one or the other. So, okay, moving on. Tony, can you please look at Engine? Gracias. I'm not really familiar with that one. I think that one's been ripping, but I can't pull. I'm not gonna be able to pull it up right now, brother. Anthony Trujillo, hit the like button if you love BCB and Wenmoon. Anthony Trujillo also gets it a BCB membership. Anthony, thank you, brother, man. You kind of came in here pretty hard today. Thank you, sir. Weaver Son, I know you're not political, but did you scoop up any Trump NFTs when they released? Thanks for everything. Love your course. Hit the like button. Yeah, I'm not political, but yeah, I did grab one. I did grab one at the release. I barely ever check on it. I think I was still in the green on that. I don't know. Here we go. Let's find out. No, I am not. So I think I paid 0.18 Ethereum for mine. It's another 0.12. So there you go. Oh, do Engine USD real quick. Oh my gosh. I guess we've talked about this one before. So this one's almost done full retrace, right? It has. There you go. Full retrace. So this was the Wyckoff accumulation, back test to the peak of Wyckoff accumulation, consolidation, off, and away it went. You're back up near retracement levels. Now the moment of truth. Engine, are you doing nothing but a retracement? Or are you doing more? And I'm going to bet there are so many people FOMO buying this thing right now. I'm going to bet it. So that's interesting, right? So that one ended up getting through, but I don't know what the market cap of this thing is. Let's see if we can see. Even with this huge rise in it, what's the market cap on it? Injective. 46. So it had to, and volumes are down, ranked 80 in volume. What was the market cap of this earlier? So this is a coin that just recently was under 100 million and now at 1.32, right? Can we get it? 5%. I don't know. TXMC just shot me a message, said we're like 1% away. Like we're like 5, bro. Yeah, so I don't know. And it's at retracement levels. Decide what you will with it. Bitcoin is falling. Oh, we're all gonna die. Surprised people aren't saying it's not crashing. There's a lot of nose breathers or mouth breathers who live right here. There we go. There we go. All right, so there we go. That's what we got today, guys. Keep an eye on the stock market. If the stock market can give us that big push, I think we're kind of at that level right now on if something big can come. That looks like a bull flag. That looks like a breakout of a bull flag, but it still hasn't taken out the peak yet. Hoping we can get this stuff, right? These are 520 for the Dow. We need breakouts. We want, if you want sustainability in crypto, we want breakouts here. But I'm not going to sound euphoric. I'm not going to sit here and scream for them. We're in the retracements. Now we watch. If we can get bigger breaks in the Dow, then of course my thought process on a lot of stuff on whether or not this market can only retrace changes, right? And I've been very clear with that messaging. You get a breakout in the Dow, you go into new all-time highs on the Dow. My thoughts can change. As of right now, we don't have signals of that happening. You don't have the NASDAQ breaking out. You don't have the S&P breaking out. You don't have the Dow Jones breaking out. We're back into these retracement levels. So keeping an eye on it, seeing if we can get more juice out of this as the market sniffs out that the Fed is certainly, I can't say certainly because I don't know Jack, absolutely positively without question 100% done with hiking. As long duration yields get absolutely hammered and pummeled this morning, along with short duration yields doing as well. Okay, so there you go. Dow 512. There we go. All right. Chuck Furr is a new member. Welcome, Chuck. Appreciate it, man. So, all right. That's what's up today, guys. Big rockin' moves over here in the stock market today. Crypto having a little bit of a pullback this morning, but good to see action happening over there in the stock market. And hopefully we could see the NASDAQ Technology 100 sector get an additional break up to a new level and not just be so worried about being stuck right in here, but start seeing those signs from the stock market as well as the market starts to YOLO. Again, remember, so like things like, so we don't get caught up, at least on this channel, so we don't get caught up in like extreme excitement on Fed rate cuts and all that kind of stuff. It seems we are in the pausing period of the Fed hiking cycle, right? We've paused 3 out of the last 4. The market still believes that we're going to be paused. You have Treasury yields that are pricing in that we are paused or even falling. So markets typically do perform well during a pausing period. But the market is starting to signal soon that, maybe potentially cuts coming at some point, at least when we see these long duration yields start to fall. Once we start getting falls, if the Fed ever does come out and start cutting, that's typically not a good sign. That typically is something of really bad. So, we're not there yet, but we'll keep our eyes on that stuff. Otherwise, bigger time frames, right? I get it. You get a red day out there. We are so high on dopamine right now from this market that any down days, you can always feel them now because they've been so good. But yeah, long-term time frame stuff, big time frame indicators. This market is cranking. It is strong right now, and obviously we're seeing that over there in the stock market right now too. And DXY getting absolutely shellacked. As you see gold and silver up today, DXY down to 104.45. So good start to the day. Inflation cooling again, got another decent reading with the year over year down to 3.2%. So we'll check in on it again tomorrow. Bitcoin looks like you're holding yourself okay, back above 36,000, 36.2. And then we'll see how things go tomorrow. Otherwise, you guys, keep an eye out for a new newsletter in the next 48 hours. Have one hopefully posted. One should be posted by tomorrow night. We'll see when that ends up happening. But by tomorrow night, I usually try to get them out by the 15th. So hopefully have that out by tomorrow night. And Otherwise, these are always audio recorded. So I write the whole thing out. I put a bunch of charts in here. And then I also audio record them. You can check that out on blockchainbacker.substack.com. There's a link in the description of this video, link in the description of this live stream, and I just posted it over there in the chat. And of course, if you want more wonderful videos from me, you can check out bcbacker.com. Get over 40 videos, over 11 hours of content, talking all about how to set up your own charts and your own indicators, understanding those patterns, and Wyckoff accumulation, Elliott wave theory, and of course, talking a lot about historical behavior of the cryptocurrency market right over here on bcbacker.com. Otherwise, you guys, did I miss someone? Someone dropped a big one. Why didn't it show up? Somebody gave, there it is, Evan Casey. I don't know why that one didn't show up. Let me go see if I can find you. It was after the link comment. Yeah, SB says, where do you see link bottom short-term time frame? And then it goes straight to Bob's way. But Evan Casey was right there in the middle. Evan Casey, rocket ship, a very generous super chat. It said, this is tiny still. YOLO long, got you soon. With the rocket ship. Evan, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was very kind of you. All right, guys. Otherwise, on this note, we're wrapping this one up. Big moves over there in the stock market, big falls in the DXY, good signs for crypto. Of course, we want more over there in the stock market. We want breakouts in the stock market, which we don't have yet. So keep our eyes on that for the next couple of days to see if that's what we can get. Otherwise, be mindful of retrace rejections right here. Till the next one, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. We kept it at 1 hour and 20 minutes today. It's a little bit of success. On that note, I'm wrapping it up. If you could, please like this live stream. Please give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice. And I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.